The Prince and the Servants. My name is Prince Nathan. I'm 23 years old. I was born in a grand palace surrounded by marble floors, golden halls, and people who bowed whenever I walked by. My life looked perfect. Food, clothes, power, respect. But behind all that, I carried pride. I believed being a prince meant being above others. That belief would soon be tested in a way I never expected. It happened one bright morning. We were preparing for an important royal feast. Nobles from every land were coming to honor my father, the king. The palace was busy, servants running everywhere, cooks sweating over stoves, guards polishing armor until it shined. I wanted everything to be flawless because it was my first time leading the event. It was my chance to prove I could be a ruler. But just hours before the feast, disaster struck. One of the young servants, a boy named Eli, dropped a tray full of fine crystal glasses. They shattered all over the floor. The noise echoed through the hall, and everyone froze. Those glasses had been handmade, imported from another kingdom. They were meant for the royal table, my table. I was furious. I shouted, "Do you have any idea what you've done?" The boy trembled, stammering an apology. I didn't want to hear it. I ordered the guards to remove him and told the head servant that he would not work in the palace again. The hall went silent. No one dared to speak. At that moment, my father, King Harold, entered the room. He looked at me, then at the broken glass, then at the frightened faces of the servants. His voice was calm, but heavy with disappointment. "What happened here, Nathan?" I explained quickly, trying to sound justified.
"Father, this boy ruined the royal dinner. He must learn there are consequences for mistakes."
My father said nothing for a while. Then he asked softly, "And who will serve the guests now, if fear has frozen every hand in this hall?" His question hit me, but I didn't answer. He walked over to the broken glass, bent down, yes, the king himself, and began picking up the shards with his bare hands. Everyone gasped. Even I couldn't move. When he was done, he stood and said, "My son, ruling is not about commanding people. It's about understanding them. A true leader serves first." Then he turned to Eli, the young servant still crying in the corner, and said gently, "Go get a bandage for my hand and come back. You will help me set the table again." The boy nodded, wiping his tears, and ran. That day, I couldn't stop thinking about what my father did. The image of a king kneeling on the floor haunted me. I felt ashamed, not of the broken glasses, but of the pride that had blinded me. Later that evening, when the guests arrived, I made a choice. Instead of standing at the head of the table giving orders, I walked into the kitchen and helped the servants carry food. They looked at me in shock. One of them whispered, "Your Highness, you don't have to." But I interrupted softly, "I want to." I carried trays, poured drinks, and thanked every servant who worked that night. At first, it felt strange, but soon it felt right. For the first time, I saw the effort behind every perfect meal, every clean floor, every small detail of palace life. The feast was a success, not because of my power, but because of their hard work. After the guests left, I gathered all the servants and said, "I owe you an apology. I thought leading meant ruling, but I was wrong. You are the heart of this palace. Without you, none of us can shine." Eli stepped forward. His eyes were still red, but he smiled and bowed. "Thank you, Your Highness." That night, my father visited my room. He placed his old crown on my desk and said, "Someday, this will be yours. But remember, Nathan, a crown sits lightly on a humble head." Those words stayed with me forever. From that day on, I made it a rule to dine with my workers once a week, to hear their stories, to listen to their struggles. And I learned that leadership has nothing to do with being served. It's about serving others with respect and empathy. Years have passed since that day. My father is gone now, and I am king. People call me Nathan the Kind. But what they don't know is that kindness was not something I was born with. It was something I learned on my knees beside broken glass. And every time I feel pride rising in my heart, I remember my father's voice, calm, wise, and full of truth. A true leader serves first. So if you ever hold power, big or small, remember this. You don't earn respect by demanding it. You earn it by giving it. The people you lead are not beneath you, they are beside you. Because in the end, a humble heart is the crown of true leadership. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.